Thank you for staying with us on Kenya's Choice 2022. Here, just moments away from the parliamentary swearing in of the members of parliament elect and the senators elect, and then right after that, they get down to the business of selecting and electing their leaders. It's done by secret ballot. They need to achieve the 2/3 number out of the total 349. If they don't, then they go back to the ballot, and the person who gets a simple majority becomes the leader or the speaker of the houses of parliament, either Senate or the National Assembly. Now we'll cross over there in just a bit and I'll show you pictures from that region. And I have some of the members of parliament elect here with me in studio, still talking about this issue of differentiating between meritocracy versus party position. But Mugabe, you had some retaliation to make, then I'll come to Njoroge to give his remarks on this issue of, are they truly independent?
I would just want to say that for us as a country, we've improved a lot in terms of our institutions, governance, and basically the whole government structure. And a very big win for this country has been the aspect of devolution, where we now have 47 counties where resources go directly to those counties without, regardless of which political affiliation they are in. That is a very big win. We also remember that after the elections of 2002, then the issue of, I think, CDF came in, Constituency Development Funds. Of course, it had this issue, but it's stabilizing right now. And again, this ensured that every area, every constituency gets some form of government resources and ensures that we have development across the country, regardless of political affiliation. Now, for us to move forward, I think we are at a point where we've done now 2 cycles of devolution. We're going to the 3rd one. And we now need to do a lot of improvement in this so that issues of political alignment can actually now be separated a lot from legislation. The executive and legislation independency can start to come in. And we have these structures right now. And of course, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga had promised 35% of national revenue going to the counties, an improvement from 15%. His Excellency William Ruto again has promised the same. If we do this and continuously empower the county governments, then we'll have proper development going into every corner of this country. And also, I want to say that the President-elect assured us that NGCDF 2015 will still be there. You know, our people are getting worried, some MPs are getting worried that this CDF money will not be coming. But now it will be coming. What we need to do again is to improve even on that CDF, because the issues that were affecting it between legislation roles and executive, I think they were properly addressed in NGCDF 2015. And we can even do further improvement. But we need to maintain that structure so that, again, every member of parliament will be sure of getting a substantial allocation for the development of his constituency, so that we don't, we now have some respect in the principles of democracy. We believe in the ideologies of our parties or our coalition, and not just using it as vehicles to get elected. Yeah. Then you whipped or you're baited with development, because you will already be having it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're okay?
Thank you. I wanted to clear the issue of independence, yeah, and say that we are not in parliament to oppose or support. We are just there to work for the people. Remember, all the 12 members of parliament in our caucus have their own even symbols, the same way they have their party symbols. So we are our own parties, and we are the party leaders of our own parties. Okay. So we are going to be independent-minded. Yeah. We are going to go with the will of the people, because it is the people who sent us to Parliament, and we are sponsored by the people. the same way they are sponsored by their parties. And I want to say that it is not a must we vote as a caucus. We can also vote independently.
Yeah.
But this independent doesn't mean that we cannot support anything that is bringing goodies to the people of Kenya. And that is how we are going to work.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this particular one that you're faced with, Njoroge, and I'd like you to start us off on this one.
Yes.
You don't have to reveal how you're going to vote because it's a secret ballot.
Yes.
But what is going to guide you as you go to that booth to vote for the Speaker of the National Assembly today? What will you be considering as an independent candidate who's not allied to any side?
Thank you. Of course, we are going to consider several things. One is the candidate himself, because the Speaker is going to be a speaker to all, not to their party. And I must say that we know the candidates, and some of them have approached us. Like now, for example, the Honorable Wetangula has approached us as independents and expressed that he's going to work with us and is not going to mistreat us.
Has Marende done the same?
I've not seen Marende in my life.
In your life?
So for us and for my case, I'm going to vote for Wetangula because he asked for my vote. I cannot force my vote to someone who has not asked for it. And I must say also that it is the case to several of the members of my caucus. So today, we are going to vote for Wetangula because he asked for our votes, and he's in a friendly coalition that has approached us and that is willing to work with us. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, that's very honest as well. You bring in here Mugabe. Mugabe, there's something that keeps coming from Njoroge here. There's some level of either a cavalier approach or a nonchalant approach from your side, because he says he's simply going to vote and he has decided to disclose who he's voting for simply because that vote was asked for. Has your side tried to reach to the other side and speak to the people and ask for their votes? Simple human
practice, yes.
Asking, yeah, just ask.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think maybe he could have missed Honorable Marende's call, or Marende is here to call him. But I would want to assure you that all candidates, their side, on our coalition, they are making a lot of frantic efforts to get the win. But I would want to look at it this way. First of all, I'm not happy, and as a coalition, we are not happy because, we need to have even some respect to and morals to democracy. We signed a coalition agreement with a number of parties, pre-election coalition pacts, and we were to sustain them 6 months before election and 3 months after. But you find already a number of parties are dishonoring this pact, and for the same reason that I've been trying to say, and what is explained that is been promised in terms of allocation of government resources for development. That most likely is the main reason, and it is killing our democracy. So for this 13th parliament, I would want as members, we try, because tomorrow you'll be on the other side, at the receiving end. We need to really try and improve on the issues of allocation of resources so that it does not follow a political alignment, or the people who did not vote in the present government will not benefit. Then we'll see democracy now playing at its best. But what we are seeing now is because of that skewness in development. We're still pursuing this issue as a coalition because we had a solid agreement, and if it were this, would have won this. And we know as Azimio, we are by law the majority in Parliament, and we stand by that. Number two, our candidate, Honorable Marende. Honorable Marende comes in to a situation more or less to what happened in, let's say, 2007. You know, in this election, it was what we'd call almost 50-50. 50% of the country is supporting this candidate, 50% is supporting this other candidate. And Honorable Marende demonstrated to the country during that period that is actually a very wise leader, and he would look at all sides of the divide before making some important decisions in the House. He was applauded so many times for his, some people call it Solomonic wisdom in running of that particular parliament. I think it was the 9th or 10th parliament. And now he comes in with this experience, and most important also is coming as a coalition that from a coalition that will now be in the opposition, and that is the best way to oversight the government, to check excesses in government.
But be that as it may, Mugabe, shouldn't you have reached out to the independents? Isn't that supposed to be your first beck and call? Considering, yes, you have some of the numbers of people who were elected under Azimio, but now you need more numbers to over Kenya Kwanza. Shouldn't you have reached out to the independents first?
I know we have a solid structure of trying to get more people on our side. Maybe it was not reached, but we know our candidate, and even as a coalition, we are trying to get as many people as possible to support us. Okay. The only issue is, trust me, if Raila would be the president-elect right now, even him would be leaning towards Raila because of the same issues we are talking about. And this is one thing that I would really want to see we improve as a country, so that the will of the people can be respected, and also we mature our democracy. And if we do it properly, I'm telling you, globally, we're going to be up there in terms of democracy, and even the fathers of democracy would come again to benchmark here again once more.
Kagusha, how is this going to play out in terms of meritocracy versus party politics? You, having been a speaker but in a county assembly before, you know the intrigues that go in there. How then will this play out? What will be the main consideration for the members of parliament when they elect their speaker?
Before I comment on that, I think Honorable Innocent Mugabe here is putting out some opaque remarks. He says that people are going to the Kenya Kwanza side because of the allocation of resources, which he doesn't think will flow to his constituents as much. I don't think that is exactly the truth, because there's no way our constituents are going to get better CDF allocation because we belong to Kenya Kwanza. We are not going to have more money and resources being allocated to Kenya Kwanza counties. We already have established revenue allocation formulas in this country. We have devolved units which receive allocations based on the formulas that have been formulated and that we all pass in Senate and in the National Assembly. So we do not allocate resources as he puts it. But anyone would know that it's better to be on the winning side. It's better to be on the government side. It is better to be on God's side. We have that clearly, and that's. But also, as you can clearly see, Trevor, our side has been unassuming, because we have not been waiting for any assistance from any help, external help. Is a book we were reading, I think one of the set books. I think it was Visiki, and there's these guys who would always keep waiting for msaada kutoka EC, and they would not work as hard because they always expected that some help will come from somewhere. You know, on our side, we have no deep state to rely on. We have no system to rely on. We only rely on what we can be able to do at our level. That is why Honorable Wetangula has reached out to the independent candidates. And by the way, he has not only reached out to the independent candidates, but he has also reached out to us. He has reached out to us. I got a call from Honorable Wetangula himself requesting me for my vote. And further than that, we also engaged as a group. He engaged me as a person. I also had an opportunity also to tell me what I think and what I expect in terms of his delivery as a speaker. So you can already see, I'm sure Innocent has not received a call from Marende, except for the group address that was done to the MPs as a group. It is highly likely that he may not have received that call. But our guys are unassuming, and that's what we have been doing. And no wonder we are winning in every front. And today is going to be that other battle that today we are going to settle with finality. Okay. We may not get the 2/3 majority in the first instance because we require 232 members of parliament to vote for us, to vote for our candidate to win in the first round. Yeah. We may not be able to achieve that, but I can predict here that we are going to have about between 190 to 200 members of parliament voting with Kenya Kwanza and voting for Moses Wetangula. We are going to have that kind of a number. And by the time we are doing it the second time, of course, you can see it's going to be about almost 200 and 140 something. Okay. Yes, so
I'll come to you to finish your thoughts in a bit. Let's cross over to Parliament where the action is happening right now. And Seth Olale is standing by. Seth, good morning. Epic battle expected there this morning, right? What are the preparations looking like and what are the sentiments of the members of Parliament elect there?
Well, Trevor, good morning. It's now just slightly above 1 hour before we start the official sitting of the 13th Parliament here at Parliament Building. Good morning, like I said earlier. And right now, we're just having the last minute preparation as far as the security protocol is concerned. Inside and outside Parliament Building, what we know is that all the 349 members of Parliament of the National Assembly are expected to start arriving any moment from now, same as the 67 senators who are expected to be sworn in today. And already the order of events, as you may call it, or rather the order of business of both houses of Parliament is already out. What we know is that first we'll have communication from the chair. Later on, we'll have the administration of oath, which is a swearing-in ceremony, both in the Senate and in the National Assembly. And later on, we are going to have the election of the Speaker. It will be followed by the election of the Deputy Speaker representing both houses, and then the House will adjourn. So the order of business already out, just signaling the official start of the 13th Parliament. We're talking about the first sitting after the President did issue the notification paving way for the pre-swearing in processes for both houses. We know that a fortnight ago we saw that orientation exercise being undertaken by the acting clerk of the National Assembly, Sarah Kioko. Yesterday, we witnessed that particular exercise being presided over by the clerk of the Senate. And right now, it is now all systems go as far as the first sitting is concerned. I'm also joined by my colleague, Ben Kirui. And Ben, from your end, of course, you can see that already this particular Parliament Road has been barricaded. Traffic is now being restricted, and there is also a beefing up of security, Ben. So at any moment from 8 p.m. we expect that this particular place will be cordoned off completely. But Ben, what have you witnessed since we stepped here at around 6:30 a.m.?
Na bila shaka Seth, kutoka saa 12 tumekuwa tukiona magari ya polisi yakipiga doria katika barabara hii ya Bunge, na pia hadi sasa hivi tunaona tu wale maafisa wa polisi wakitembea tu hapa kuhakikisha kwamba usalama umeimarishwa, na pia tutatarajia kwamba barabara hii ya Bunge Road itaweza kufungwa pande zote mbili, na tayari tungegeuka kidogo lakini hatuwezi kuangalia pande wa pili, lakini kuna kuna lile lori ya polisi ambayo tayari imeashiria kwamba muda wowote kuanzia sasa magari ambayo tunashuhudia yakipita pita hapa hayatakuwa yanapita, labda watakuwa wameelekezwa kupita barabara nyingine kama vile ile ya Uhuru Highway na pia vile ya Haile Selassie, ili kuhakikisha kwamba shughuli za bunge la 13 zitakuwa zikiendelea bila bugdha yoyote. Lakini Seth, tutakuwa tunatarajia mambo kadhaa ambayo yatakuwa yanaendelea hapa bungeni, lakini ni ile kipute cha idadi. Kenya Kwanza na Azimio watakuwa wanamenyana, lakini tuna idadi ngapi labda ya wabunge ambao watakuwa wanaegemea upande wa Moses Wetangula na vile wale ambao watakuwa wanaegemea upande wa speaker ambao ameteuliwa na chama cha Azimio la Umoja?
Yes, you're right. Basically, there has been alignment and realignment as far as the battle for parliament is concerned. What we know, Kirui, is that both sides of the political divides are claiming to have the majority, are claiming to have the superiority in numbers. What we know is that will now depend on who gets what as far as election of the speakers and the deputy speakers is concerned. There were reports earlier on that Kenya Kwanza was controlling 169 MPs compared to Azimio's 158 in the National Assembly. When you go to the Senate, there were also reports that Kenya Kwanza also was leading with 35 MPs as opposed to 35 against 32 from their Azimio counterparts. But remember that the MPs that we have been talking to, especially here in Parliament during the orientation program, did say that when it comes to the election of the Speaker, Ben, it won't matter where you're coming from. They're going to judge from your integrity and leadership skills. So that is really supposed to take, or rather expected to take, center stage here. Of course, what we know is that the party organs have a say in as much as the leadership is concerned at both houses. But according to many MPs we talked to across the political divide, did mention that it will now boil down to who is most qualified as far as the integrity and leadership skills are concerned, Ben.
Lakini pia huo ubabe wa tunajua kwamba wale wabunge wa Azimio la Umoja wako na ubabe ama wako na wingi wa wabunge, lakini ubabe huo ukaenda ama huenda ukavurugwa, maana kunao kunao wale wabunge ambao tayari wameashiria kwamba watakuwa wanaelekea Kenya Kwanza ama tayari washaenda kwa rais mteule William Ruto. So hiyo ni jambo ambalo huenda likavuruga idadi ya wabunge wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance. Lakini vile ni umuhimu gani ama kwa nini kunao ubabe wa idadi, Seth? Manake kila upande inataka kuwa na ushindi. Kenya Kwanza wanataka kuwa na speaker na pia vile Azimio la Umoja wanataka kuwa na speaker. Ni umuhimu gani kuweza kufanya ile ama kucontrol parliament?
The most important issue is, of course, when you have a government in place, an administration, you'd want a free and smooth flow of policies being enacted. A government can only be as good as, the kind of policies and the laws that are passed that, benefits, its execution of mandate. And so definitely this now means that it will have to be a battle on both particular houses. And like you said about the political affiliation, what we witnessed immediately after the William Ruto was actually announced president-elect by IEBC, we saw quite some alignment and realignment. Parties such as UPIA, MDG and the UDM actually affiliating themselves to Kenya Kwanza Alliance. So this one actually is being interpreted to boosting its numbers as far as the control of both houses in Parliament is concerned. So Ben, of course, we're camping here. What we also know is that we have our colleagues Stephen Leto and Chemutai Goin still here at Parliament buildings, but right now I'm handing you over to Trevor Ombija in studio.
Well, thank you, Seth. We'll cross over to you in just a bit. In fact, in the next 15 minutes, Seth Olale, then Ben Kiruyo, to Stephen Leto standing by with Chemtai Goin. We're giving you wall-to-wall coverage of everything that's happening at the 13th House, that's in Parliament. The swearing in of the members of Parliament will be happening. Then they'll choose their leaders. But Kagusha, you're finishing your thoughts on meritocracy versus party politics in terms of when you're choosing your leaders.
Yeah, well let's give it to them. These two gentlemen are very qualified for the position and for this work. Marende, both Marende and Wetangula, they are both very well qualified. We know very well that Marende has served as a Speaker of the National Assembly, and then clearly he was a good Speaker. And then now we have Wetangula, who is highly qualified for the position, a politician of very high standing of many years. I mean, Wetangula was an MP, Member of Parliament, nominated by KANU in 1993. You can imagine. I don't know where you were, Trevor, at that time. Same to me. I might have been in lower primary school. 1993. Wetangula was a Member of Parliament. After that, he has been elected Member of Parliament for Sirisia constituency for so many years. He has been an Assistant Minister, I mean, many years. He has been a government minister, Foreign Affairs Minister. He has been a Minister for Trade. While serving in Parliament as a member of National Assembly, he has also served in the Speaker's panel. This gentleman has been a magistrate in the past. He has been an advocate of the High Court for many years. He's a guy who is a good communicator. I mean, he's probably one of the well-cultured and with very good Queen's language in terms of spoken language and written. So he's a guy who will perform the duties of a Speaker in a good way. In fact, he's one of us as members of National Assembly, as he has gone through all those processes and he has been in the Assembly for so long. He's one of us. Now, would actually call him one among equals. And so he's a guy who is well qualified. And you see, being a Speaker also, you got to understand also the issues welfare of members of National Assembly. Because as a Speaker, even as I served as a Speaker in Nyeri County, one of the things that you have to understand and to know all the times is that as a Speaker, your constituent is your voters, and your voters are your members. Yeah. And so matters welfare also come in handy for a Speaker. So really, those are some of the things that he will be well versed with. Yeah, he will be well versed with. Similarly, Marende would also, fit the bill. So in this case, it's going to be much more about affiliation rather than meritocracy, because all of them are qualified. Yeah, so I expect the members of the National Assembly today are going to be a little bit much more dependent on the leanings, the side they're leaning towards, rather than the how qualified these people are, because they all seem to be qualified. Look at Bose Sholei, for example, going for the Deputy Speaker, a highly qualified lady. She's been a registrar of the High Court. I mean, of a registrar of our judiciary. She has been a member of Parliament for so long now. This is the second time. I mean, she has come all the way from, I mean, I think she was a magistrate at some point, and now she went all the way to be the registrar. Yeah. So we are looking at people who have very good qualifications. If you look at Farah Maalim again also, he's been a deputy speaker before. I mean, he has been a member of Parliament. He's also qualified. If you look at the Senate as well, we have, I don't know who is going to be the deputy speaker from the Azimio side, but I know, Stewart Matsai. Yeah. I don't know about his qualifications. Same way, I don't know so much about the qualifications of Senator Kathuri, but I know the former governor of Kilifi. Yeah. Amason Kingi, he's an advocate of the High Court as well. So all these guys are well qualified, Trevor. So I think what we are going to be looking at today more and that is what you expect to see,
Yeah.
is members of National Assembly and the Senate voting much more for the side they are leaning, similarly to the independent members. And I know there will be very serious attempts to fish out from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, it would definitely be very interesting to see, for example,
Yeah.
where one member of ODM by the name Honorable Tim Wanyonyi will be voting, considering that on the ballot today is going to be his brother,
Yeah.
and he belongs to ODM.
Okay.
Is it going to be a case of blood is thicker than water?
Or parties.
Or is it going to be the issue of party loyalty?
Yeah.
You know? Luckily, this vote is a secret ballot.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so you may not, no one will be castigated. Yeah, but give it to them. These gentlemen are qualified, and the ladies,
Okay.
they are well qualified. But then there are also things that you also need to look at. For example, like the Kenya Kwanza card on the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly seems to be well balanced,
Okay.
with a gender balance,
Okay.
50-50. Whereas on the other side is going to be 100% one gender, as men. So those are some of the little tidbits that we as Kenya Kwanza put on the table, and they become a little bit more enticing.
All right.
You are going to find some of the ladies in the National Assembly today who may have who have the persuasion on feminism, and also looking at the issue of the gender equation. You might find them also voting for our lineup.
Okay.
So you are likely to see, for example, someone like Bose Sholei, when we come to vote for her, she might even get it the first time.
Okay.
She might get 232 members because women are also likely to vote with her.
All right.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting power play today.
So Mugabe, Kagusha is sure that it's Moses Wetangula who's going to take the day in the National Assembly. But hypothetically speaking, if the speaker comes from what is now the opposition, would that improve the checks and balances for the executive, or will it deteriorate the relationship further?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to demystify this issue that our coalition is not making efforts. I can tell you I've slept at 2 a.m. Working and moving around, trying to get and solidify our numbers. We've had several meetings with the Honorable Marende. Maybe our strategy was a bit different because we allocated certain members to go, because the number is huge. So if you leave it to one individual, he may not be able to reach each and everyone. So of course that is our plan, and I think today we might get shockwaves in Parliament when the vote is finally cast. And we're also telling members of Parliament and the country at large, you see, when you take the person of Honorable Moses Wetangula to be the Speaker, and he is a principal in the Kenya Kwanza, and then you take someone like Ken Marende, is in the opposition coalition, and he has proved beyond any reasonable doubt that he can be very impartial and balanced. So the best person that has been tried, has been tested in very difficult times, in making very serious decision, a national decision, is actually Ken Marende, and he did it very, very well. He was in ODM at that time. I think PNU was in government, but he was very objective, and he always ruled, or rather directed in the favor of national interest. There is no better candidate for the position of Speaker of the National Assembly than Kenneth Marende. When you put Moses Wetangula there, basically we all know now it will become very subjective. There will be no objectivity. Look at Bose Sholei. Bose Sholei is women rep for where? Was in Gishu, the home county of the president elect. We expect any objectivity from there? We don't. And Kenyans are watching, and how members are going to behave in this election, as much as it's a secret ballot. But we are convinced beyond reasonable doubt that we are going to take this home.
But I think it's also important as members of parliament, young members of parliament join the parliament, because I've been a speaker. It's important to note that speakers do not cast votes.
Yeah.
They don't oversight the government. Speakers are actually supposed to be neutral.
They are facilitative.
And they are facilitative. And that is why I even mentioned the issues of welfare. Speakers generally take care of members of parliament so that the members of parliament are able to execute their duties. So a speaker will not in any way hinder members of ODM from oversighting the government, and will not hinder the members of UDA and the parliament, to say in general, to oversight the national government. That will happen. The speaker is only facilitative. Yeah. So I think it's important to point out that, because then if you do not understand the role of the speaker so well, then you might go and have expectations. For example, when you are not able to oversight the national government or the executive, you might be hoping and expecting that the speaker will do it for you. Speaker will not. A speaker is a very neutral arbiter. Yeah. In fact, the speaker is supposed to improve the relations between the National Assembly and the executive. He's like the go-between. He's a bridge. Okay. But the members of the National Assembly are themselves who are supposed to be oversight. And by the way, once we are in the National Assembly, whether you are in ODM, UDA, or any other side, you're not going to be laughing with the executive every day. You are going to be tough on the executive because you want them to deliver. Because if they don't deliver, then you fail. Yeah. If they don't deliver in Mukurweini, for example, as a member of National Assembly, I fail. So I'm not going to be seated there and, just clapping for executive every other morning. I'm going to be oversighting them. I'm going to be pushing them to be able to help me deliver to the people of Mukurweini. Now, I don't expect a speaker who then is going to be at loggerheads with the executive. I expect a speaker who is going to be facilitate me so that then I am able to oversight the executive. So it is important to differentiate these roles. A speaker elected does not then become an MP. He doesn't come to oversight the president. He comes in as a... Yeah, and also it's also important to note that once you attain the status of the speaker, your employer and your allegiance is not to the executive anymore. Yeah. Your employer and your allegiance is to the National Assembly. Okay. And that is why we have clauses of removal of a speaker. Should members of Assembly wake up one day and realize that the speaker is not very helpful to them, they can actually impeach the speaker so easily than probably the way they would have to impeach a president. So it's important to differentiate those roles. Yeah.
Njoroge, you've been quiet for a while. Let me hear you. How you tend to hold the government accountable on this.
You know they're intimidating me. And you are siding with them when they were campaigning for their candidates. But that is good campaign from both the coalitions. Yeah. You have told the people of Kenya about the candidates. But I want to assure, as an independent member of parliament, I want to assure the members of the public that they are safe with anyone who becomes speaker today. And the biggest beneficiary will be the Luhya community, because regardless of who will win, it is their community that will get the speakership. So that is a plus for them. I want to also say that going with the qualifications we have had in the CVs presented by their representatives, yeah, we hope that the speaker who will win is going to be an independent thinker. A speaker will not sleep with the executive. Because if you sleep with the executive, you'll not be a speaker at all. And as an independent, you are going to check it very well. Yeah. You're not going to tolerate mediocrity with the office of the speaker. Yeah. We want to be treated as equal members of National Assembly, like any other members. And we are going to support and work with the speaker if he's going to work with us. because, like I said, we are self-sponsored in Parliament, and we are thinking independently.
Yeah.
But most probably, they should be helping the members of the National Assembly to deliver even the manifesto and the promises that were promised to the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as independent candidates, will you then be voting one way, or will you sit together and agree? Because, you know, their side are speaking to their people.
Yes.
Because Azimio are also speaking to their own people. Are independent candidates on their own as well? Have you chosen some of your maybe mini leadership here and there, that then we agree that this is the direction we are taking?
Yes.
Or is everybody up for grabs? So whichever side you're convinced to go, you just go?
No, the independents are in a caucus. We have a caucus already formed and has leadership. And we have applied to be recognized as a caucus in the House. And we are going to work as a team, negotiate for developments as a team. And the issue of people saying that we've been given handouts, it's not true. What we've been promised by Kenya Kwanza is development and support when we are delivering to our people.
Okay.
And so, like I said, we are going to honor the negotiation.
Okay.
Yes.
Trevor, I think Mheshimiwa has put it very well here, that we need a speaker who will not, just to quote him, sleep with the executive. Then you bring the partner of the executive, principal, to be the speaker. You bring the women of the president-elect to be the deputy speaker, surely. Now you know where to vote. If that is your line of thinking, then you should vote this other way, so that we have proper checks and balance. Again, it's coming to the issue of development. Mheshimiwa from Kurueni explained that we have clear structures for allocation of resources. CDF, everybody gets. County, everybody gets. CDF is 2% of the national budget. County government gets 15, so 83% remains with the national government.
Yeah.
And that is the deal breaker. That is why Mheshimiwa would say I would get development. It is from that 83%. So unless we find clear mechanism for handling this 83% by empowering these others, then these issues will continue to.
I know you have to head out to Parliament now, so I'll give you a chance for closing remarks, starting with you, Honorable Kagusha. What should the people expect as they watch you? All their hopes are now lying with you, the members of Parliament-elect. They're hoping the representation, oversight, and legislation will be spot on. What should they expect going forward?
Today is the last day we are in competitive politics. In this campaign season, we are going to be settling this issue with finality. Kenya Kwanza took government. Kenya Kwanza is going to take control of the houses, the two houses of Parliament, because it is important to run government, to be in control of the houses, so that the government budget and the government agenda is able to go through the Parliament with ease, because we are the government, and we want and hope that we are able to control the two houses. And I would also want to ask my friends from the Azimio side to kindly carry themselves with decorum today. We do not expect to have another Bomas. We don't expect intrigues, as we are aware. Some people might be plotting to bring intrigues and funny shenanigans in the National Assembly. We want to ask them, let us all be people of decorum. We all go and vote. And remember, our children, our Kenyans are going to be watching. And we don't expect to have anything that is dishonorable in the House. Let us all carry ourselves well, so that we are good examples to this republic. It would be unfortunate if we again went back to the Bomas incidences and those kind of things. Let us vote with clarity and democratically, and whoever is elected, let us support that person for all of us.
All right. Mugabe, closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Let me assure the MP for Mukureni that you shouldn't be worried at all. We are very honorable members. We are respectable people in society, and we will show that to the country today. And I don't know why you're getting these thoughts. You shouldn't be scared. One thing that I just want is that we need to respect the law.
Yeah.
We had coalition pacts that were signed. Let us respect it and let us give it to Azimio as the majority side in Parliament. We're going to stand by that so that we respect the pacts that were made before election as part of our principles to in exercising democracy in our country. I also want to say that we are not going as Azimio just to oppose as Azimio MPs to oppose anything. As you said, this season is coming to an end.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of sobriety in decision making, in voting, and in addressing national issues without just looking at which side of coalition you are in. We're now going to focus on matters that are of national interest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Njoroge, closing remarks?
Thank you very much. Like I said, as an independent thinker and member of parliament, I will ask the two coalitions to remember that we are working for the people of Kenya. Many of the issues that need to be addressed in this nation are touching supporters across the two coalitions. If you mention things like the food prices, and to be specific, unga is expensive to supporters of both coalitions. The same case with fuel prices. So we are going to do away with the issue of the speaker today. Then we start working for our people. Okay. And I'll ask the current president-elect to remember that our people are suffering because of unga. I would ask him to start with bringing down the cost of unga and also the cost of fuel, because our people are not getting enough because of the economy in Kenya today. And lastly, to say thank you to the people of Gatundu North because of giving me a chance to be their member of parliament, the first youth member of parliament in Gatundu North, the only independent member of parliament in Kiambu County, and also the only independent member of parliament in Central Region, and the only MCA who became MP in Central. And that makes me feel very good, and special thanks to Almighty God and also my people and supporters.
All right.
Thank you very much. And also, let me say hi to my mom. I've never,
That's okay.
she has never seen me
On TV.
on Citizen TV, and I'm very happy. Thank you very much.
Toto Mama.
Mama, I hope you're watching. Honorable Elijah Njoroge, Member of Parliament-elect for Gatundu North, independent candidate, thank you so much for making time. Honorable John Kagusha, Member of Parliament-elect Mkurueni. Honorable Innocent Mugabe, Member of Parliament-elect Likuyani. They walk out here, Members of Parliament-elect. When they walk back in, they'll be official MPs because they're going to be sworn in just a few moments from now. And also an epic battle for the Speaker's seat kicks in at the Parliament, that is at August House. Let me show you live pictures there. We'll be crossing over to our reporters who are standing by. There's Seth Olale standing by, Chemtai Goin is there, Stephen Letoy is there, all of them, and Ben Kirui as well, to speak about what happens there. The numbers play out, how they're going to play out. We will let you know in real time. All right, let's take a quick break. We're back with more. Philip Gishana will be joining us from Muzalendo Trust. They keep an eye on what goes on in Parliament. We'll be talking to him as well in just a bit. Don't go too far. Our wall-to-wall coverage continues until the elections are done and the service to the people starts. All right, see you in just a bit.